Hello to all. So today I am here to bring you some new announcements about the front wheel drive Discord. Front wheel drive Hideout Discord. I don't even know the name of my own Discord. If I start to fall off topic, I do apologize. That's my ADD kicking in. Um, and before I get driving here, there's just two other things I'm going to mention. My shifter doesn't work in the second and fourth gear that well. It sometimes just doesn't recognize it's in gear. So there is that. And if you hear any squeaking, it's my wheel stand rocking around um, because it likes to do that. It's not very sturdy. And here's what our big announcements are going to be. I'm going to get started here driving in a second, but I'll just give you a preview of the car first, actually, before I get into any of that. It's my EJ2, my personal tuned version. It's got scratch exhaust, rims. It's got my provincial conservation plate, stickers on the windows, scratch rear window lip. Sorry, not wing. Front splitter and front hood and anything else inside the car I've just picked up along the way. So yeah. So I'm just gonna make sure everything's here good. Yeah, so we get all kinds of gear sets with this car too. Yeah, so here's what I'm gonna start out with. So everyone who's in the front wheel drive Discord, if you're not, then there is a link in the description. I strongly recommend checking it out. And then you'll probably have a little more idea of what I'm talking about here. But there is the Planned Projects channel in the Discord with a ton of cars that I've planned to hopefully do. And I say hopefully because it all depends on how things go. I'll get into that here in a little bit, but first off, I'm just going to go with why am I talking about this? Because I'm adding cars to the list. So if you haven't looked at it recently, as of today with this video, there has been a big update to the list. What update, you ask? Well, there has been a change in, I have added 3 Volkswagens, I have added a handful of Toyota, and a handful more Honda and Acura cars. So if there was something like, oh man, I didn't see that on the list like the first time or anything, go take a look again. It might be there. So here's just a couple of the ones that I've added are, if you don't know what any of these are, you might have to look them up. The ZZE 110 Corollas, the AE 110 Corollas, the AE 111, the AE82, AE92, ZZT 231, and the Starlets. Not any specific Starlets, just a variety of them. There will also be like performance branch ones of them, like how I've done with Mugen before. There will probably be some TRD and some Tom's Toyota stuff in there. I don't know too much on Volkswagen, so the Volkswagens will be just basically the GTIs. Or one's a Mark IV, so I may give it a VR6 option as well. Yeah, so that's what we got for that there. A couple of the other Hondas that were added were like the a few older Accords, few older Preludes, you know, CSX, stuff like that. Like earlier CSX, like the EK, EJ generation of Civic, the 99 to 96? I think so. 96 or 97 year to the 2000 year Civics. At that point, there was the Acura CSX, same thing, but a couple different other things about it. Anyhow, so that's what we've got added to our list about other things. Now, I'm also going to take the list though and break it up. So they're also, instead of just being all by year there, they're also going to be by make and year. So there will be an Acura section, Honda. There will be an alphabetical too, so it'll be like Toyota, Volkswagen, or whatever. I think that's alphabetical. Yeah. Anyway, it'll be like Acura, Honda, um, Volkswagen, Toyota, or vice versa, whatever the hell it is. But yeah, so that's the news on the planned projects. Now, this is going to, I guess, be my segue going into my next point. So I'm going to explain to anyone here who is unfamiliar with me and my mods, but have maybe used them and, seen this Discord, like, yeah, I like front-wheel drive stuff, let me join. So, all of my mods are of a commission-based thing. So, I pay some of the people who I think are reputable and do good work. So, for example, Casual Flex did this one for me. He's done an amazing job with it, and I've had some other cars done by a great modeler, great modder, by the name of Ruel Salton. Honest to God, if you ever need any big modeling done for any cars, that is the man to go see. I 100% recommend him. Casual has also went and got modeling work done through Ruel for a customer. And once again, Ruel doesn't fail to amaze with the good quality modeling. So there are those people, and I have had refractions done by a few different people. But refractions seem to be mostly of all the same quality, in my opinion. There are some people who are, slightly better than others. But generally, the 3 people who I've went to have all been in similar quality. It's just kind of different headlights, different model, kind of will give you a slightly different result anyhow. So, yeah. So, here's what I'm going into that. Is all these cost quite a bit. Now, the one discouraging thing that I've heard in my time of modding is the phrase encrypt and skip. Now, the reason I always encrypt, or did always encrypt, was because I'm going to use my XSI DA9 here as an example. That car, I bought the model, and then I had to have an interior fully modeled for it. Now, Crow, another guy, he is my other go-to for modeling. He was who did the Integra interior. He's hourly as to oppose Ruel's almost more kind of flat rate at the end. But honestly, what Ruel says as a price is 100% worth it. I've never not disagreed with him. But yeah, so Crow did the interior on that, and it was like, all in all, it was like starting to get really expensive. Like the interior was almost 200. The model had quite a bit price-wise. The conversion on it costed quite a bit, mainly because the person at that time didn't like to do certain things, so they charged more, like a lot more for that, because they usually just kind of did things a simpler way. Now, David charges, or not David, Casual, sorry, charges a similar rate. And thing with Casual doing the work, though, is it's worth it, because everything's done to an amazing job, and it's actually done right. And you're not paying somebody to take that extra step to do it right. He's already planning to do it right, which is why, it costs a little more anyway, because, it takes a little more time. I'm 100% fine with that as long as everything's done right. So after all this, a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, well, how did it make it, around 700? Because the Mugen variant I did, the body kit also costed. And other parts, like all the refractions, costed for both. So in the end, it came out to quite a bit. So you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, well, what do I do? Well, we'll call me research, I guess. There's a lot of images for specific things that I go and gather. For example, the EG9 Civic Fiero sedan mod SIR that I have. Only the SIR had optional gathers rear speakers for the rear window. The hatchback didn't get rear window speakers, mainly because hatchbacks don't have rear window speakers. They sit in the rear where the seats go. Same to if anyone's ever seen the inside of a CRX, same idea, I believe. Or they might not have had rear speakers. Truly don't know. CRX had rear speakers in back where these seats would be. So, yeah. So those gathers rear speakers, you only would have found those doing extensive research. I looked and dug and dug and dug, and I even went through eBay and bought a Fiero catalog. I have a real Fiero catalog, and that was one of the things that I picked out, and that was, those speakers. So a lot of time goes into me doing stuff like that. Now, catalogs and stuff, I usually take out of my own pocket anyway, just because it's memorabilia that I like to have. But that's kind of what I end up doing, is I end up doing that stuff. And I also do a little bit with the powertrain, like finding out what gear sets and ratios were optional. Like, so what aftermarket gears are there for a B18, which is this? I have, a bunch of correct aftermarket gearing. Same as I have for B16, D16, and I think a couple trans options that worked with the B20. And like newer stuff like K-Series, like I know quite a bit on those with their transmissions, what gears were what, and what transmissions came with what spec of the K20A, all kinds of stuff like that. So I commission it, and my part doesn't really cost me anything because I don't mind doing that. It's a matter of just the time of all the other hard work that people do. So that leads into my final statement here of that. What is the big announcement here today? And if you've got this far, good to know. Basically, I'm launching a Patreon. I've had multiple people come and tell me, yeah, you should do that, kind of after having conversation with them and explaining to them the same thing as to why my mods sometimes take forever to come out because, other bills get in the way. So they're like, yeah, you should put a Patreon up, that way it's just, money straight for the mods. That way mods are getting done. So I decided, you know what, let's bite the bullet with 2022. Let's make a Patreon. Let's see how it does. Let's see if we can actually get enough support to do these mods. So with the Patreon, supporters would be getting the following. So you will have your say in not just what mods get done in the run of the month, or it'll probably be like, hey, out of these 5 mods, what 2 do you guys want done this month? And then there would be a vote. So it would go upon that vote, and it would just kind of be a random 5 each time, or it'll just be what's agreed on the most, something along them lines. I'd let it run out for like a week of how long people want to discuss about it too, right? And on top of that, so you guys also would be getting access to like the Tom's TRD Mugen tune type stuff, or Spoon. Like those tunes primarily are going to be the Patreon premium tunes, meaning the stock version anyone can have, but the like done up version would kind of be like a Patreon premium. Now there's no minimum to my Patreon really, and there's no maximum either. So contribute however you would like, because even a little can go a long ways. Like there's 200 people, and even like if everyone did $1, I mean that's enough to have a mod done, like one mod done, and that would be 1 mod a month. So the more you can get done at one time, right? So it also will come to a matter of that. I will try to put a couple dollars of my own money in where I can, but a lot of it will have to come out of the community here for this, because I don't have a shit ton of money to be putting into this right now. That's the reason I've opened this. So I know there's a lot of people, like I've said, if I had more PayPal donations there, then that would be better. But I also kind of realize people would be like, well, I don't want to donate to somebody's PayPal because you don't really get like a solid that where it's going. So basically, that's why I made the Patreon, is so you know where it's going. It's going to a separate PayPal account just for these mods, so that they can be done and nothing's interfering with them. Like, oh no, Spotify came out, we can't do this. No, none of that. So that's kind of where everything of that is. Now, I'm trying to think of anything I might have missed in regards to that. Um, with the tuned spec like this is my own personal choice of what I wanted for tuned in here. Like these seats, that shift knob, this wheel, the rear window thing, the front lip with the hood, that stuff's all my personal taste, personal choice. Some people may also agree with, liking that, but there might be some people who disagree. So we can make other skins with what people have recommended, or what we can do is take everybody's opinion in making the tune and have it kind of like a combination of what people would like the most. Um, so that's kind of is where that is with that. We also were going to do a bunch of events. So as you see, I'm just driving around here today with the AI, but I would like to do more days of just driving around in front wheel drive mods from the Discord, maybe some even without there, starting until we get, a good amount of mods. But until we get a good amount of mods, we'll use some other ones. But for now, I mean, we can just, uh, look to the future of having our own collection of front wheel drive mods that we can all run around uh, tracks just for fun, just driving around for fun. If you want to be competitive about it, I mean, sure, if you want to try to be competitive, but also just be courteous to others. So I'm gonna try to host a couple events of those there, like maybe one a month, two a month, maybe even. We'll see how it goes. But that's kind of, I guess, the news info for 2022. If you made it this far, I do appreciate that you actually listened to my ADD ass ramble for that long, because that was like 15, 20 minutes, and that goes a long way. It's appreciated. Uh, as I said, if anyone needs any more information on like the Patreon or has any questions, um, feel free to ask. If you have any questions, even about like the suggestions list, by all means ask. There's going to be a Discord link here in the description. You'll find me in there, uh, or just leave a comment on the video and I can cover it to you. Otherwise, yeah, no, I truly appreciate you sticking around to this long, and hopefully we'll have some good new mods for you and some improved mods for you here in the 2022 year. So once again, thanks, and I look forward to seeing you all in Discord.